go, most powerful ability in the game acquired. The run is going to get quite a bit more crazy very soon.
Absolutely massive, Toadette. Grips just took a few deaths getting sent back to that safety stage.
I heard you guys like lore, right? Well, we have go fast left, we have go fast up with enemy, we have go fast down, and now we have go fast up without enemy. Charge jump acquired.
Anyway, hello everyone, and welcome back to the 2022 War in the Blind Forest Definitive Edition All Skills Tournament. We're still in the quarterfinals, and this is an exciting day filled with both of the final two matches of the quarterfinals. So a potential of 6 total races that are going to be taking place today. But we're going to start with the first best of 3 here between Paws and Ronny. My name is Lionel Almanar, and I'm joined on comms by Turtle, who you already heard a bit earlier. But how are you doing, Turtle?
I'm sorry, man. I'm just so excited to get this high, top-tier Ori gameplay going for today. Like I said, we have so many matches, and starting off, again, Ronny and Paws, you can see by their seeds, absolutely the top tier. Either one could definitely take it, and we'll just have to see going into this best of 3 possible games. So, oh man, I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, this will be definitely an exciting one for sure. The seeds, Ronny is 2nd and Paws is 7th seed, so as you look at the stats, is a bit of a difference in PBs and in skill level as well as routing. We're going to see once we get into the run, but still definitely up for, anyone can take the win here for sure. Ronny's PB not quite 2 minutes ahead of Paws, but Paws has been getting some runs that have been very close to getting a 28 recently. Had one just with PB he got that was definitely pretty close to potentially getting a 28. So we'll see what the 2 runners are capable of doing, and especially once you get to top tier runners like this, you can see some mistakes that can take place, and small mistakes can take a lot of time and can be very big.
Especially a competitive setting like this, when you know you're up against another amazing runner, might even have to place extra safety saves, lose some time here and there, just to make sure, in the worst case, you don't lose minutes to a single death, especially in the later game, somewhere like Misty. Even Ron, the 2-seeded runner, has been saying, I'm going to place a safety save here, I'm going to place a safety save here, because he knows playing it a little bit safe can absolutely pay off huge in a competitive live race setting.
So we're gonna, Ronny did say there's gonna be some extra safety saves that he will be placing, but we'll point those out once we get to them later on. As you're saying, there's gonna be the difference between, do you want to go as fast as you can, or do you want to take extra time to be more safe? And especially this race, I would assume the Ronny feels a bit favored as with just the difference in the PBs as well as the times in both the tournament bracket races so far in the round of 32 and round of 16. Both of Ronny's times were 28s, which is better than Paws's PB, so he's probably feeling relatively confident, but still wants to play a bit safe and is thinking that he has enough time to place that extra safety so that he can still go as fast as possible but not lose time to deaths.
We do have a little bit of information as they raced each other in 5 different preliminary races. And of those 5, Ronny won 4, but Paws did manage to take 1 game faster than Ronny. So it's definitely possible for anyone to win. We just have to see, can Paws manage to do it twice out of 3 games here is the big question.
It's definitely, if you can do it once, it's potentially doable, but you'd expect Ronny has been very good at this game, has been running this game for many, many years and consistent, and he's definitely one of the top runners, so even if he does mess up a tiny bit, you wouldn't expect him to lose a ton of time with more than, like, potentially doing that in more than one race. But you never know. Sometimes if you lose one race, you expect to win, it can be frustrating, and then you can start and go from there. But it depends. So we'll see what happens in this race once we're gonna get started in just a minute. Bit of play here, but that is starting. We'll be starting in under a minute now. So get ready. Get into the first race today. We're just about to get started now. We're gonna head over to here, get the transition, get into the game. As we can see, both runners are gonna start here, skip the prologue, the most important 10-minute time save, and then make their way over to the left, doing some running and jumping to get down to sign at start and start off this exciting day of 6 potential races.
Yep. At the start of a game, both runners can only jump and move left and right pretty much, but you'll even see both runners doing absolutely everything they can to optimize their movement, doing bunny hops as often as possible, just to save split seconds of time. And both of them are keeping up with these micro optimizations very well, like barely frames apart as they get to the first energy cell, but that's only 30 seconds. We have potentially 30 minutes of these different optimizations coming up. And so speedrun taking just a slight lead, every millisecond could catch up and add up over time.
Just a tiny bit better movement from Ronny, but it's not a big deal. Obviously, in the beginning, there's still a lot of the run that's still left. So we see something happen as well as we now. In the start, there's still just, as we are saying, not much we can do, but it doesn't seem like a ton, but there's still small, tiny things, like just a tiny bit of a better funky fight there from Ronny will get him a bit of a lead at the start. So there's so many small things that can take a lot of time, but it does take 1 damage there at the start. So hopefully Ronny will be able to note that his health is fine. It gets an unfortunate health drop there, so I'm going to put him a tiny bit behind. And his settings menu might have been a bit messed up, but it's fine now. But it does cost Ronny a few seconds.
Pause as well did get a health drop, it looked like, but managed to dodge under it. And between that unlucky drop in the settings, Pause has again taken a slight lead. Speedrun looks like another health drop there. For like a casual player, that'd be very nice, but Ron doesn't actually want that. He manages to avoid this one and will be right behind WhitePaaws as they move into the first ghost door, both on 1 health, perfectly quickly getting through that door. As they are both going to go into Glades, we will see Pause make a little diversion for this early health cell. That's something that a lot of runners do. It is definitely faster to skip it, but that means you have to run pretty much the entire game with only 3 health, which is very, very scary. For an experienced runner like Ron, who knows all of the tactics that he's going to pull off, it's possible, but that little safety net might come in handy for Pause if they take any damage boosts later on in the run, especially in Misty.
Sure, Pause there, Sign decided to talk to him a bit, so not ideal, but it's just a bit of time, but most of the time difference so far is just from that extra health cell that Pause did get, and even most of the other top runners so far in the tournament matches have been getting that health cell, the other top seeds as well. So it's really just been Ronny not getting the health cell. It really just shows his confidence with this route and just making sure that he's still comfortable with what he's doing and the strats that he's used to doing, even though it does make it more risky to go for this strat, as later on in the game, everything will do a ton of damage and kill him in 1 hit, no matter what he does.
And so that's also why the safety saves that Ronny told us he was going to be placing are going to come in so much more handy. With that only 3 amount of health, every safety save might matter so much more without being able to take a single damage boost at all in places like Misty. So definitely keep an eye out. We're hoping not to see any unintended deaths, just some ghost doors from both of our runners, but you never know. This game can be quite brutal when it wants to be, especially in the later sections. Right now, just heading back through glades. The slimes here only do 1 damage, so unless you get really, really bad cycles and just get thrown off your game by them, they're not usually too much of a problem. Usually.
But sometimes stuff happens, but so far looks good from both of them. They're going to make their way back over to the other direction from the area that we just came out of, going back over to glades, to the right side, over to the teleporter, open a save anywhere, skip a long cutscene. Well, it's not that long of a cutscene, but it's a cutscene that neither runner wants to watch before we go into Black Root Burrows. Ronny will be leveling up Quick Flame at the start as he reloads the menu and makes his way into BRB.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the shorter Black Root Burrows cutscenes, with some of the later ones being over a minute long, but hey, this one is still several seconds that you don't want to waste in a run that could be this close between our runners. So both of them do manage to skip it. We'll be now heading in, and this section is a little bit slower, Black Root Burrows. Some auto-score rules that we will be doing some clever things to skip, as we see on Ronnie's screen when he ditched the orb earlier to jump backwards over that pit and makes a first try, gets up the slippery walls to get a little bit more EXP, which he'll need for another trick coming up later. And he's dodging the orb as WhitePaaws pulls off the exact same trick with the slippery walls, and will be right on his heels going into the laser section.
The extra save was placed by Ronny. I believe he does actually make it the cycle, so we'll be able to save just a bit of extra time there. It's a very difficult cycle, but Ronny, the other thing, he only has 1 energy here, so he with that safety save won't be able to do one of the newer cutscene stacks and strats, but we'll still be able to do it later. Just can't do what WhitePaaws is going to be doing right now, which is open the save anywhere here, which will allow him to save a bit of time later, as he won't have to place an extra save after this next movement room, where Ronny is now making his way up these platforms. Still some slow cycles, but we're almost making our way over to dash, which will make the run start going a lot faster once we get there.
While these cycles of all 8 seconds are very slow, neither runner missed the main one coming up the lasers. Both Ronny and WhitePaaws got that fastest cycle, so no one will be losing any major time through that, luckily. And this run will still be very close, as both of our runners now, having the menu over their screens, makes it a little bit difficult to see what's going on, but Ronny will be closing his as he places down a save, makes another, and that will skip several of the different cutscenes in this area, and allow him to get the dash tree, and then make some blind movement off to the left side of the screen. WhitePaaws following right afterwards with a save of his own, will be taking the orb over, placing a save, and doing the exact same thing as both our runners now are following each other into Frankie Walk.
Just doing a bit of a safer strat there, carrying the orb over to the right, just to make sure that it does get the blind movement and both get through. Ronny is now on the Frankie Walk. We'll be having to walk this Frankie all the way over to the right, as the trick name says, and then open a 4 energy door with only 2 energy, because you level up, and that's possible. For now, just some more running and jumping, but in a second we'll be able to get a lot of use out of the new dash skill we got and move over to the right. Both the runners with magnetless will have to be very careful here, since they don't have magnet to open grab the experience, but Ronny does get it. Not exactly the way he probably wanted to do it, but still does get it done. Is going to wait 1 more cycle, but does get it as well. Got an energy drop. However, I don't know if he actually was able to be able to save. Just not to, as Ronny has made his way through Death Gauntlet.
We definitely call it Death Gauntlet for a reason. This area can very easily take your life and make you do Frankie Walk all over again. But for runners of this caliber, nope, it is easy peasy, just like God's Cycle is in Grotto for Ronny, making a very, very tight jump to get into those crushers, not getting insta-killed by them as well with the 1 frame that can happen. That's a very, very slick movement. We'll see if WhitePaaws can get it here. Oh, nope. So we'll have to wait for the crushers to reopen, as Ronny is making his way through a little bit faster due to that skip of God Cycle to the double jump tree.
It's a very difficult trick. It's one of the hardest of these cycles to make. So it's very understandable the Paws missed it. Obviously not something he would want to miss, but still definitely not an easy trick. But gonna be some extra time lost here now, probably gonna bring the difference to around 20 seconds after that. So we're gonna see final time here. Yeah, just around 20 seconds difference at the double jump tree. So time is slowly adding up, even though another runner has really made many big mistakes. It's just small things, cycles here and there, the health cell and glaze, as Ronny does go skip and baguette jump. Both first trial though did kill the energy.
We did see Ronny do a little bit of blind movement as well at the double jump tree that Paws decided not to do. That means that Ronny now is down one ability cell though, that Paws will have the ability to use later for different time saves. So it might seem like they just lost a little bit of time there, but can definitely be made up through other methods of using that ability cell to save time later on. Having a little bit of difficulty with the slippery walls on Paws' side, that's absolutely understandable. These walls, their hitboxes are exactly as they look like, not straight in the slightest, and it is very, very easy to just fall off of them for no reason at all. But both of our runners still managing to navigate their way up through this area very, very well. And we are going to see both of them heading into Ginso, getting past Gandalf on Ronnie's side and getting past Gumo on Paws'.
Both runners now be making their way to the top. Walls are definitely hard to climb, but they've both been able to make it up, as we see a bit of a difference here as Ronny is going to be skipping an ability cell at the top here, because he's going to be going for Crazy Juggle later in the run. Doesn't quite get the fast cycle there on the crouches that he would like, but still very well done for the rest of Energen. So, and with the teleporter that he will be using later, will make his way up to the Ginso tree in just a bit after doing another cutscene skip, as Buzz is going to make his way there too in just a few seconds.
Yep. And so that is now both an ability cell and a health cell that Ronny has skipped, both letting him go faster, but just making his late game much, much more dangerous. But he's been pulling off pretty much every trick first try without hesitation at all so far, so hopefully we'll see some amazing stuff later on. But Paws will be grabbing that energy cell, or not energy cell, ability cell, as we saw, to use another trick, or a different version of getting up to the Sunstone later on in the run. That's a little safer, just costs the time to grab that cell right there.
And I just want to point out that Ronny is having a very, very good run so far. Only 4 seconds behind his PB, which is definitely a pace for a low to mid 27. So that is a very good time. If he's able to keep this up and play well throughout the rest of the run. So we'll look for that as we keep going with the run. So definitely a very, very good start for Ronny.
Yeah, you can see he's having fun too. While waiting for the cycles in this room, he's been dashing, double jumping about, just having a blast with the amazing movement in this game. And is now onto the mini boss, which with the quick flame that both runners have, can be defeated a lot easier than with the more typical strat of Magnet. So Ronny will be defeating that mini boss in basically no time at all, and making his way onto almost the bash tree. There's a little bit more of keystones to go through this, as Paws is still very hot on his heels, about to make his way into the teleport, or not a teleport, the puzzle room himself. Both of them doing Rasmus cycle to just skip a little bit of the waiting in this room, but hey, it's still a bit of a puzzle that they have to solve one way or another.
Definitely do know how to solve the puzzle, as we also know now how to get do a lot more movement skills since we've got bash ability on Ronny's side. So still very, very good start for this run from him, as Paws is getting to be doing the mini boss room here, being, I believe, to get a 4 cycle here, and we'll be getting it, so not a cycle, but it is the same cycle Ronny got, as he's having a bit of trouble with his movement, and will actually take a death here and have to go back to the bash tree. So a bit unfortunate of a death there, but still has a bit of a lead.
Yeah, bash, as useful as it is, we will see double bashes like that from Ronnie's side, but those can just be dropped, or you can slap the projectile with your face on accident, as we saw there as well the first time. But now making it through with some more double bashes, we'll be placing a save pretty high up in order to do a faster key dupe here, as WhitePaaws is now at bash tree, probably having gained a little bit of time with that little death from Ronnie. So Paws is now in about the same section of the tree, although he will only be starting his key dupe as Ronnie is finishing it.
So going for another damage boost strat there on the left wall. It's very difficult to get off, but he's going to be able to get that final keystone just a tiny bit faster and make his way into the second mini boss room as Pause also goes for the top strat, here for the top platform save as Ronnie is going to be making his way out of against the tree in a still, even with that death, still a very, very good time as he makes his way into swamp as Pause sets up for his key dupe.
And now with that bash ability that our runners have, we definitely are still going to need to get Stump, as this is all skills, but we're going to get it through an alternate method, probably using the double bash, as it is a faster way of doing a trick called Swamp Entry, which involves everyone's favorite frog, Ringo. And so we are going to see Ronnie see our favorite frog in just a sec after doing some blind movement, skipping this laser cutscene. And oh my goodness, he moved so far during that blind movement. That's just amazing. We'll be taking Ringo over to break both of these platforms to get into Swamp using double bashes absolutely flawlessly. I'm just in awe of the things that Ronnie can do. And Pause as well. Still trailing a little bit, but is about to do the same section. I'm betting it'll be just as well.
So, a very, very good movement in Swamp there for Ronnie. Pause is going to be choosing not to do this blind movement as Ronnie, it's double bash chain here with damage boost there as well. Very close, very difficult to do, but does get over to the stomp tree as Pause. The lack of blind movement means the lasers will be on, but it's a tiny bit slower, but definitely a bit easier as unfortunately the frog will fall into the water. Frogs can't swim in this game, and Ringo apparently didn't realize that. So, Pause unfortunately is going to have to do that again as Ronnie is going to be making his way out of this area and they're going to be crossing each other's paths, but unfortunately not at exactly the same time and doing the same thing.
And Ronnie will also be using Ringo once again to grab another ability cell. This is why Ringo is everyone's favorite frog, because he's helpful. Even though, as we saw, he does like to jump into the water sometimes. It's not healthy for him, but he does it anyway. But our runners both able to manipulate him pretty well to get whatever they need to go. And we will be not seeing a cutscene at all on Ron's side. Actually, I didn't know there was a cutscene there. What am I talking about? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Something cutscene, who knows? What are cutscenes? This is a speedrun. We don't want cutscenes. We do want his fast movement, and that is what Ronnie has been doing. And Pause as well, still having a good run. Is still a bit of a difference that it has been still growing, but unfortunately Ronnie barely going to miss that last double bash there, so won't quite be able to get the skip there, but will be doing the rekindle skip. That double bash chain is very difficult to do. As Pause now is going to make his way out of Swamp as Ronnie is now at Charge Flame.
Mm-hmm. Double bashes have just a very, very tight timing to get them, and to do multiple of them in a row without any of them dropping is ridiculously impressive to even attempt. So good on Ron for even trying, and we'll almost definitely see him try and maybe even get some more later in the run. As WhitePaaws managed to get through the lasers that were deactivated in Ronnie's side. Again, there is no cutscene in this game, and we'll be following through Spider Lake, doing, again, very fast movement, as both of our runners are continuing now towards the left side, the dangerous part of the game where spikes deal as much damage as our runners have health.
This is where Ronnie's really going to start trying to be as safe as possible. Unfortunately, Frog's not going to be that nice there, but still get some double bashes up, and we're going to see if he does place a safety save here. Ronny did mention that he was going to attempt to place a safety save here, and he will do so. That hopefully he does remember to get an extra energy that he will need later, but just a bit of extra safety now, as all of these spikes in this area do 3 damage, and as we mentioned earlier, Ronny only has 3 health, so it's not really that safe, but he's going to be going for Stompless here. Not going to talk about how the shot angle was, but he's going to move down and get the ability cell, and unfortunately, oh, he does actually get the shot. He was just, his movement was too good that I thought he missed it.
As a caster, it is impossible to predict whether someone's shot is the right angle or not. Everyone has their own little way of setting it up, and it always looks wrong to everyone else. But Ronny knows his setup. Ronny gets it first try, and will be, again, skipping a lot of cutscenes as he gets Glide, and we'll be heading on up after that into Sorrow. And, speaking of cutscenes, it looks like Pause might have messed up one of the saves just a little bit, giving us just a bit of lore, the very, very tasty juice that we all love to see in a speedrun like this, obviously.
What we saw Pause there was that he saved a bit too early. The dash glide to get over that teleporter, it can be very tricky to do, so it means that you'd have to watch that cutscene. Fortunately for him, for that cutscene, it's not that long, as he can skip the majority of it, as now Ronny did remember to get the energy, and he's going to be doing his crazy juggle now. But does get it well done. Very, very difficult trick as well, and makes his way up to Sunstone as Pause is going through Valley now.
Just phenomenal from Ronny there, not managing to damage the frog too much as he brings him all the way up Sorrow. That'll be his way into Sunstone. To get it a little earlier, Pause will have to do that later with a different trick. But speaking of tricks, Pause is on their own fast Stompless. I didn't see the angle, but again, we can't predict that. And Pause does get it first try as well. Great job from the both of them to get that pretty difficult trick. Each of them on their first try with their own different ways of setting it up and getting it.
Cycle a bit scary there, but does make it through and would make his way over to the charge jump tree now. Still a phenomenal pace here, even though has made mistakes. Still a very good run and definitely very good time. Now as Ronny now, since he's already got the Sunstone, just needs to leave this area. Still, all the spikes do a ton of damage, more than he has health, and so Pause, meanwhile, gets very nice, clean Sorrow Bash and makes his way through Sorrow, as Ronny unfortunately takes a death there at the last spike. As I said, all the spikes do more damage than he has health, so a bit scary, but will be able to make his way out here. And even though it looks like they're a lot closer, Pause does still have to take about a minute to make his way up to the Sunstone after collecting the charge jump tree. So a bit more of a time difference than it looks like now.
Pause was a little low on energy, couldn't manage that Ghost Aura, but that's only a little bit of time loss as compared to forgetting that you didn't save and then dashing into the spikes like you normally would. So good presence of mind there to not lose that time themselves, as both of our runners are still in areas that do a lot of damage and can lose a lot of time, especially if safety saves aren't being placed, which Ronny might place another one here, I believe he said, in the middle of Misty, which, since he went the 3 HP route, the spikes here, which do 3 damage, will kill him instantly. So there is a save, as well as skipping a cutscene with that. That'll let him be a little bit safer as he goes down this spike pit. Hey, and there is a death, luckily a very, very quick one thanks to that save, and Ronny will be right back into it, heading down to climb with some stomp movement as well, just to show off to the spikes who's really boss.
So aside from that one tiny death, very, very good Misty from Ronny, and that's was the nice thing about doing that save and that cutscene skip is it's able to place an extra save there without really losing much, as Oz has completed the Sunstone cutscene skip and has the Sunstone now, as Ronny is zooming very quickly through the back of Misty.
once in Misty, when you have basically every single skill in the game, both of our runners know every trick that will just help them fly through this area, even though it is still very dangerous, as Ronny is showing us, with charge dash, stomp cancels, rocket jumps, all of the amazing movement. We can just see our runners go absolutely ham on this area, so long as they still have the energy to do it all, which is really what all of these stomp cancels that Ronny's doing so perfectly show off. Saving the energy, making sure he will be able to use it. Although it does place a safety save with a little bit of energy there. Just knowing that, again, 3 health, anything he touches basically means death. So playing a little bit safe there as he goes through another long spiky fall deeper into Misty.
Just really wants to make sure that it doesn't lose even more time, and wants to make sure they still close out this race with a win, and taking an extra death there would not be the way to do that. And so losing an extra second or two with that, with one less charge dash, is as bad as losing 30 to having to take a death. And so gonna place another safety save here at the mini boss and pick up the energy, gets the mini boss kill. Well done, as Buzz makes his way to the climb tree. So a bit of less of a difference, but still a big difference here, and Ronny's still very much in the lead, and he's making his way out of Misty now to get the final skill of the game, and then over to Mount Horu to finish off the run.
Yeah. Now that Ronny is out of Misty Woods, it's a little bit of a home stretch. There are definitely still a lot of lava and lasers that will insta-kill him, but they also insta-kill Pause with that extra health, so there's not the health advantage anymore, really, for everything except the final swim. So Ron will have that as a slight advantage, maybe, as they're now into the bottom of Black Group Burrows, using a little bit of a glitch to trigger a lever to constantly pull open a door, and will be making their way down to get Grenade, skipping all the cycles, knowing exactly when the lasers are going to time. That one looked a little spooky to me, honestly, but makes it through, skips the cutscene. Very good. We don't want to watch any lore. I mean, I do, but Ron doesn't. And more charge dashes to get right to the grenade tree as fast as absolutely possible.
Now, as Ron has gotten all the skills, Buzz has made his way through the back of Misty. Very well done, and nice. We see a grenade jump there on Ronny's side as he moves very fast, as gets past the laser, does some more rocket jumps to make his way out of lower BRB, as Pause does the same with Misty. As Ronny, even though there were some mistakes here in this run, and still gonna be able to get up to cell, no problem. Too fast for the boulder there. Still definitely on a pace for a 28 if he has a good skate. Has a good fields and escape, so we'll see if he can still pull that off, which would still be ahead of Pause's PB potentially. So very good run still for Ronny.
Pause themselves is still doing a pretty great time here. Will be making their way past the cutscene, hopefully going to skip this one. Yep, does it. Not going to be early, because this was one of the longest ones in the entire game. So they'll be making their way through that. Ronny, if you just watched that side, had a phenomenal grenade jump right through Horu Fields. Both runners showing off their tech and their talent extremely, extremely well. But Ronny just showing it off a little bit faster as they're entering the final escape, or the final dungeon of the game, as Pause is just getting grenade and will have to catch up basically a full split in order to win this race.
Now, he makes his way to the final escape, and he's going to be doing a warm skip here, as we don't even need to watch this cutscene. No cutscenes, as Ronny's going to go for leave the door once and go back in to make sure the game will save, and he makes his way. There's some blind movement in the final escape, but totally fine. He knows what he's doing. It's very difficult, but Ronny is very good at the game, as Wallace makes his way into Carter Fields with some fast movement, as Ronny gonna go into the swim. Only has 5 HP, so he needs to make sure that he's very fast here, and it does barely get out. Just the final grenade jump left before Ronny takes a 1-0 lead in this match. As we go into game 2, as it does get the grenade jump, and Ronny will be taking the win here with a high 28.
Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal run. And speaking of grenade jumps, we do see the same grenade jump through Horu Fields on Paw's side. That straight angle tech found very, very recently during the tournament. So both runners being able to pull that off and adapt to new strats is phenomenal to see. But despite that amazing show from Paws, they will still be a full final escape behind, as Speedrun all just has to hold one button, maybe do some hops. Yep, there they are, with our Blueberry Mom Naru, as they will hit time 28:53 for Speedrun. Sub 29, GG.
As I said earlier, it's still 14 seconds ahead of Paws's PB, so it's definitely not a run that wouldn't be capable of doing if he had a very, very good run, but still a very good run from Ronny. He's definitely still good and has the lead in this match going into game 2. As Paw's setting up for the grenade jump, it does get a first try and does finish off. Will be quite sub 30, just about 10 seconds off, as he finishes up his run as well.
Again, just phenomenal shows of skill from both of our runners, and we'll be seeing some more skill coming up just a sec, because this is a best of 3. Paws definitely still has a chance to bring it back, but in order for them to do that, they'll either need to get a run with better than PB pace, or we'll maybe need to see a little bit more mistakes from Ronny just with the second race in a row, maybe having some more nerves, more fatigue, or maybe they'll just be in the zone after having gotten this one out of the way. So it's all up to our runners, as Paws will finish 30:09. A great time, GG to Paws.
Yeah, still very good run and only a few mistakes made in that run, but still, even making just a few mistakes against a runner that's as good as Ronny, it means that it's going to be very, very difficult to get a win in the match, but still definitely a chance. As you said, for Paws coming back is a best of 3, and there are still a potential 2 matches left here. So we'll see what comes of the rest of this match, in which will be starting. Second match will be starting in just a few minutes after we give the runners a break.
Hello everyone and welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the second match out of 3 between Speedrun and WhitePaaws in the quarterfinals of the Ori and the Blind Forest All Skills Tournament. I am back on commentary, my name is Turtle, and I'm joined in this second match by a second commentator, and that would be Bobbies. Bobbies, are you ready for match 2 between these great runners?
I'm very ready. Quite excited, actually. I felt like both put up a really good game 1, showing their incredible consistency on both sides, just playing really close to both of their PBs. But Ronny coming in and winning the first game. But I think it can be fairly tight between both these runners. They are very high seeds, so will be showing us quite the show tonight, I think.
Yeah. And we already saw them, but this is now the second match in a row. They may be a little bit tired, they may be a little bit fatigued, or like I said, they may be in the zone. And with Ronny having one win under his belt, maybe he'll be a little more lax, try some more risky things. And with WhitePaaws, knowing that he's on the edge of elimination, might be going for some more risky strats, trying to catch up just that little bit more time that he needs to get a win and bring it to game 3.
Yeah, and as we were seeing in game 1, Ronny can definitely take some fairly hurtful deaths in Misty as well as Sorrow with his free HP route. So we'll have to see if he sticks with that and maybe gets punished by it even more than he did in the previous race. So yeah, stay seated.
And so our countdown is already underway. We've got about 30 seconds left till this game 2 is underway. And we'll be starting over from scratch at the very beginning. And the timer will be at 0. Oh, I'm so hyped.
Yeah, I hope we do see Paaws PB and then get a game 3, as Richard is pointing out. That would be a very nice outcome. Just seeing a close race would be great, honestly.
So here we go. Once again, both runners gonna skip the prologue. Very important. There we go. Amazing. That fastest trick of the game right there. Saves, I don't even know how much time. It's a lot. As we are once again getting into the race. Paaws is again going to change color at the very beginning. Although that bluish purple is honestly a little bit hard to see for my eyes. I hope that doesn't mess anything up in this early game for Paaws.
Yeah, it's a funny color to get, especially in Glades where everything is kind of purplish. So very nice random color to get on the Paaws side. But they both get their first energy, going to be heading to the sign effectively, getting that first little hack. Dumping the Rhino under that rock, and we'll be seeing the first little time save with the Frankie fight. Hopefully goes well for both experienced runners.
Same as last game, Ronny just a couple, basically microseconds ahead from just slightly better optimization in this very first bit. But we know he's going to skip, or at least if he's keeping the same route, he's going to skip that early health cell in Glades. That'll catch him up in this first split a bit. But again, we've seen him take some deaths, so that risk might pay off, or maybe we'll see Paaws manage to catch up sometime later, thanks to his ability to take a damage boost, either on purpose or an accident in Misty.
Yeah, you saw that Ronny actually had a tiny bit of trouble with that second Frankie, but he had a really quick backup, so didn't lose too much time. But I think that left a bit of time for Paaws to pass in front, but he's being, again, passed by Ronny, who is just doing some slightly better movement. Glades is really, it's almost like unseeable where you actually save time. But Ronny is just doing some better slight movement than Paaws. Paaws having a bit of trouble with this climb as well. Getting that health pickup, and we'll be both doing the ghost door and going for that extra health for Paaws afterwards.
Yeah, that health drop, actually a bad thing to get more health at this part of the game. It's just random if things drop, and we very much do not want that, as the animation to grab them takes time, and because we needed to take a death for ghost door, Paaws had to swim just a little bit longer and gave Ronny just even a little bit more of a head start going into the early game. But we'll both be making their way down, grabbing the keystone at the early game. Paaws will not be letting Sign speak this time. I very much agree with that. Sign is a distraction and a nuisance, and if there was a run where you didn't pick him up, that'd be great. But for all skills, we're going to grab him because Sign can help us beat enemies and move fast. So
Watch out, you are making all the Sciences players go absolutely apeshit in the chat, so be careful of what you say here. Ronny getting wall jump, of course, and Paws being just behind. Of course, there is the little delay of the extra health that Paws went to get, and also I believe Ronny went for Flower Skip, which is a really nice little trick that saves a tiny bit of time if done correctly.
This early run, Glades Hell, that all the runners have practiced so much and reset so many runs in, is just incredibly optimized. All the little movement, all the jumps, all the slight time saves and tricks. It's so great to see a clean Glades run all the way through, because you know our runners have poured way, way too much time into getting this split in particular perfected.
Yeah, you see those like little neutral jumps afterwards as well, because the Glades exit is just optimized to every single little bit of movement as well. So yeah, those little neutral jumps that we'll see the jumps afterwards to get the double jump. But yeah, those little optimizations that Ronny is doing perfectly and that Paws is following up as well, as they both head towards Blackroot Burrows, a pretty annoying part of the run where you often do reset, so we're hoping to not see any major deaths here. They'll probably both be taking some safety saves just in case.
We did see both runners get the best cycle with the lasers first time to save those 8 seconds of waiting on platforms, so hopefully they'll both be able to get that again, because just sitting there as the platforms slowly move is excruciating, especially in a race setting where you know that, oh no, these 8 seconds are some that my runner or that my opponent's going to get. Oh, and Ronny there is going to give up not as 8 seconds, but a little bit of time just sliding off the platform. Luckily did place a safety save right before the edge of this pit, and we'll lose very, very little time to that death, luckily. Right back in it as Paws is going through that very same platforming section to grab the little orb here and make his way through Blackroot as well.
Yeah, they're both placing safety saves as said before in different locations, but definitely making sure to not die, because otherwise you lose a bunch of time, as Ronny is getting that 8-second time save for that cycle, getting it very well, having some extra little time to spare. And now going up, they were both on a good amount of XP going in BRB, so they'll be able to level up afterwards for the Frankie Walk. As you can see on Ronny's side, he has his little donut almost completely filled at the bottom. And we'll be seeing a essay here on Paws side to save a bit of time. So yeah, another little time save that Paws can make in BRB to catch up to Ronny.
And both runners once again making that Blackroot Burrows laser cycle very, very nicely done. No one will be gaining or losing any time to that particular hard bit of tech. But again, there's so much more in Blackroot Burrows that both runners are going to have to navigate around. We did see, again, that slight death from Ron, giving Paws a little bit of time. They're doing different strats here for the cutscene stacks and cutscene skips, which I don't entirely know which one is faster, because both of these skips go away in the blink of an eye. But oh man, these two runners are just showing off once again everything they've got as they try to beat the other, either to bring it to a third game or to close it out quickly. And Ronny is so far slightly in the lead to closing it out in a second game.
Yeah, getting that blind movement, very well done, going very far actually, so all the way almost to those two first dashes, dash sliding over this little slime and going to go get that little Billy so that he can kill him, level up, and get through that energy door that we're going to see in a tiny bit. Paws doing the same on his side, getting that blind movement as well. It's fairly impressive, honestly. Not an easy blind movement, but they're both succeeding perfectly well in doing it, as Ronny gets his Billy all the way to the right side.
And another thing that is definitely not easy that both of our runners are going to make look like a cakewalk is this magnetless strat. Ronny, not even going to stop at the top, is going to let Billy jump up at him as he's going along. He does get an energy crystal, So if he wants, he can place a safety save in the middle of Death Gauntlet, and he doesn't. He doesn't even need to. He is just that confident in his skills to make it all the way through to grab the energy, just as he normally would, and doesn't even save heading even further down into Gumo's hideout, where he will be going for the God Cycle, as Paws on the other side also gets Magnetless very, very nicely to get through his Frankie Walk and into Death Gauntlet with a little bit more health. But, oh, that Frankie scared me. He did just have enough health with that extra that he grabbed very early on to stay alive. So that one health was definitely the difference between life and losing a lot of time there for Paws.
Yeah, very good choice on his side, playing it safe. As Ronny on his side absolutely went through Gumo's little hideout super quickly, going all the way to double jump, getting that God Cycle that Paws did not get on his side. So saving those 8 seconds, as well as just doing the Ghost Door perfectly and doing his blind movement again very well. So as you saw earlier, Paws does not do the blind movement at double jump. He prefers to use it later. And Ronny on his side doing some very nice dash glides over that little slime to save some time, and going over to the grotto jump. Very nicely done by him.
He does break the crystal, but otherwise gets baguette jump very well.
Super mad.
Has a little bit of trouble with the menu there, but skips the cutscene. Again, we don't. I mean, we want to see those, but he doesn't. So he'll be skipping it as he makes his way up these slippery walls, very, very nicely with his new double jump to just boost his height as he wall jumps a little bit faster, all the way to the top. As Paws is following up with double jump again, no blind movement, but still moving through the rest of this area very, very quickly, trying to catch up to their opponent.
Yeah, there's definitely like quite a big bleed on Ronny's side right now, but it's never over with Ori, as you know that there's some major deaths that you can take later on, and even in the split, it could be fairly troublesome for Ronny, but we did see him do an excellent Ender Ginzo in the previous game. So yeah, definitely demonstrating that he is consistent with his movement here, even though the walls are slippery and annoying.
Yep. I believe that the last run, his Ender Ginso split was either gold or very, very close to gold. Just incredible movement and optimization of this. Actually, very technical split with all the different things that you have to keep track of, being cycles and enemies and everything. But Ronny getting through the Crushers, getting the teleporter, and will be making his way back into the Ginso tree for the second time, once again on an incredible, incredible pace. Holy cow, man.
Yeah, that Crusher cycle, it frightens me every time. It's just so tight, but he gets it again, and so just excellent play by him, as Paws on his side is moving towards that area as well, going towards Ginzo. He's gonna get a tiny little death, but that was actually kind of nice, as he got the hyper speed afterwards, so very nice play by him actually. And yeah, getting that AC on the contrary to Ronny, he's not doing C juggle later on in the run.
And I don't blame him. C juggle is an insane strat for insane people, but insane people happen to be able to go very fast. So we'll see that from Ronny quite a bit later in the run. As for now, his insane strats to weave and bob through these spikes, and then even take an intentional death to speed up this next room. Again, just everything so insanely fast from him, as Paws will also be coming up to the Ginso tree at the very base. I believe it's about a minute, a little less than a minute of difference between these two runners at this point in the race.
Yeah, definitely playing both really close to their PBs, so just very impressive once again on this game 2, following up what we saw in game 1, as Ronny seems to have missed this free cycle, missed one shot. Too bad for him. He will be getting the 4 cycle with that quick shot and be heading towards his next ability, which is Bash. Getting through this room very nicely too, as he'll do this dash on the other side, as Paws on his side, getting through the early rooms as well very quickly, taking the bottom route as well, of course, going through these portals, just dealing with it. So
We're also going to see that same Phrasma cycle from Pause, just a way to speed up this puzzle room. And again, both runners like to do some fun double jump and dash glide movement while they wait. But Pause is waiting no longer, and Ronny is not waiting for anyone, as he is now blasting up with some double bashes here. Yup, gets one right there to speed up his upper Ginso even faster. He did take a slight death to that last time. By this time, gets it first try, absolutely nails it. So potentially an even better run from him as he's going up into his key dupe. As WhitePaaws does finish off the mini-boss, left some energy in the spikes. Does have to take a bit of a damage boost to get that energy, unfortunately. Or not energy, EXP. But that's a lot of EXP that mini-boss drops, which will be very helpful later for the level ups we need to skip the cutscenes.
Yeah, Ronny once again getting that very tight damage boost to get that 4th keystone even faster. Very nice play by him as Pause gets to his bash, of course, and Ronny finishes off this mini-boss, getting the amount of XP he should be wanting. Too bad for that 3rd one, but it should be enough for his XP route. He'll be heading back to Grotto and towards his Misty entry. Oh, Misty, sorry. Swamp entry. Getting that Ringo frog. Hopefully, not too many issues with the frog. As we see Pause on his side, gonna be doing his double bash as well, doing the same stats as Ronny, just a tiny bit behind, but nothing too major yet.
Mm-hmm. Both runners just having a little bit of trouble with not having Magnet. You need to pick up every energy manually, and so while it is faster in the long run to go for Quick Flame, it can definitely be a little bit tricky to just make sure you are getting everything you need, because if you get to the late game and you don't have that last ability cell, well, that's a very long cutscene that you gotta watch in order to get to the grenade tree. But both runners still managing to get the XP they need, and both of them will be moving on. Pause getting his key dupe, and Ronny opening another door at the same time with a little bit of hyperspeed, just blast into this swamp stomp tree area. Say that 5 times fast. Ugh.
I love that hyperspeed. It's just so absurd. It saves so little time, yet it's so satisfying. So yeah, really nice play from Ronny. Getting his stomp. We'll be heading back to Ringo to actually play a bit of drums afterwards. Getting that other ability cell, but yeah, getting out of the swamp area because we want to get straight to our next ability. As Pause on his side, bashing off this slime to get that level up, and he'll be going towards his swamp entry as well. Not saving there, so they have the laser cycle. They have to be careful of that because it is a bit dangerous afterwards.
We have some news from our truck that Ronny is... Oh, I might have just jinxed it. I was about to say Ronny is 10 seconds ahead of PB at Stomp, but Ringo proving to be a very, very big bully of a frog, jumping into some spikes and not letting Ronny bash off of him. So that'll cost him a bit of time, probably not on PB pace anymore, unfortunately, but still a great run, still quite a bit ahead of Pause, even though Pause gets Ringo into Swamp very, very nicely this time, and will be heading to the swamp stomp tree themselves. But Ronny already into the spider sack area, just blasting through, doesn't even care that they lost time to Ringo doing some shenanigans. Has a backup, does take a death there into the infinite damage spikes, but a great safety save will let them just keep going right on with this very difficult double bash chain that, doesn't get the stomp off quite quick enough. And that'll mean we do get to watch just a little bit of a cutscene. Not too bad all in all, but I was super, super close to getting that chain completed.
Yeah, too bad for Ronny. He did get some excellent backups though, so might not be too far behind PB, as on his side, Pause is actually 4 seconds behind PB at Stomp. So playing very close to his as well. Just both doing some excellent runs right here, playing close to PB once again, as they showed in Game 1 as well. Pause on his side did not have any trouble with Ringo, so he will be gaining a bit of time on Ronny, and hopefully be able to gain even more to get this race to get a bit closer than maybe the previous one. Oh no.
Yeah, we joke about there not being a cutscene there, but there is technically a cutscene there. And so Paws will get the skip on his second try, but that is a very, very difficult trick, despite how our runners always make it seem absolutely free. So props to everyone who can show off that trick in live races like this, like Ronny and Paws both doing throughout both their races, managing to skip, watching a big bird just look at you for 20 seconds, very annoyingly.
Yeah, Ronny also getting this nice stomp to get this ability cell, still playing excellently, and will be heading towards his fast stomp list that we'll be seeing right here, hopefully, going for the first shot. Quite a complicated one, dashes away immediately, so have some extra little time over here to this cutscene straight away. There it is, very nicely played by him, as on his side, Pod is doing the SA to actually skip this cutscene as well, and might get the dash glide over the teleporter. Very nicely played. It is a lot harder than it looks. So yeah, both doing some very good gameplay.
Yeah, we saw Paws miss that save anywhere last run, in fact, just because the lip of that teleporter can just get in the way and prevent you from actually getting over, which is very, very hard to see behind the save anywhere menu. But this time, Paws will get it and will get through without having to watch any of Sign's little, hey, go here, do this cutscene exposition that we really don't care about as speedrunners. As Speedrun is showing us, we don't care what the game wants us to do. The game wants us to do Misty and Forlorn, and we are not. We're just going to go straight up to Sorrow because we can. And this will let us entirely skip Forlorn. We have to do Misty later, but for now, Sorrow will get us charge jump through climbing up this shaft, either the conventional way with glide, or, as Ronny is showing us, Sea Juggle does accidentally kill the frog very, very close to the end. There is a backup frog, which Ronny will now have to grab. But the backup frog dies too! Oh no! Ronny is all the way back down in Valley, right by Paws, who just got fast stompless himself. Wow, that's a massive, massive time loss for Ronny, and this race just got a whole heck of a lot closer.
Yeah, this is really close. They're like, Paws is getting his glide as Ronny dies once again. So yeah, literally like less than 10 seconds away from each other right now. Paws getting his charge dash as well, and will be heading up there for the Sorrow Bash 2. Not an easy trick. You did see Ronny miss it just before. It happens. One of the hardest ones when you actually learn the game. But Ronny doing some wonderful rocket jumps again, not taking the safety save earlier, so he is fairly confident in his sea juggles, which is a really horrendous strat that is really hard, as you saw just before. One miss and you kill that frog, but he is attempting once again to get it up there as Pod is right behind, getting those rocket jumps on his side.
Yeah, and so with their different routes, Paws will actually be getting charge jump first. Again, it's a little bit deceptive right now about who's in the lead because they're going for different orders of Sunstone and charge jump. But wow, this race just came down in a snap. A single death can just completely throw everything into chaos. Both of them setting up some menus to skip cutscenes. Ronny to skip a very, very long one with Sunstone, and Paws actually not to skip a cutscene yet, but to also do Terra Break, the alternative to Sea Juggle, as they have to come back through this Doritos cave. They don't look like Doritos at all, but that's what we call it, with the menu up. And again, these spikes do 4 damage, Paws has 4 health, so navigating this is very, very tight. Paws gets it, will place the save, and there we go. Heading up to Sunstone themselves, as Ronny is now getting charge jump. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, just a really super close race. We did get info from the trucker that we are actually 10 seconds away, or we were at Sorrow Bash. So yeah, just both pulling up a really nice race for us right now. Ronny might not know it yet, but that death is putting both of them super close. So yeah, great race from both of them as Paws gets his Sunstone. Ronny heading down to Misty, going to be showing us some really nice movement with his charge jump, charge dash, with the charge dash cancel tech, especially with those stomps that you see. Just doing some really quick movement here. We'll see some rocket jumps as well on this Frankie. This excellent gameplay from Ronny.
And the 10-second gap has widened a little bit, simply because the charge juggle strat is a bit faster than doing a terror break. But still, if last race is anything to go by, Ronny took a couple deaths, not super major, but still deaths in Misty. Well, I believe Pause went through basically perfectly cleanly, so whatever the time difference is, it's not a lot and could absolutely come down here. But Ronny will be making his way through this spike fall. Oh my god, so close to the spikes there. I can't believe it, but makes it through with just a single safety save. We'll now be having another automatic save at climb to keep him a little bit safer, but there's still another half of Misty to go. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Ronny playing super risky, especially with his free HP. As on his side, Pause as well. He took some damage at the start and is now on 1 HP since the beginning of Misty. So yeah, playing risky as well, but he has nothing to lose right now. Going to put everything into this race to make sure that he can maybe get a game 3. As Ronny doing once again some excellent movement, but taking that death on those spikes, unfortunate, did not dash towards that climb to get the bash. Very unfortunate. Making his way back down towards this the third keystone, I believe. And not losing actually too much time because he had placed a safety save.
Yeah, if I remember, that was the same safety save that he had to place last race, because he lost time to that same area as well, but does have the presence of mind to place that save, so won't be losing too much time. Pause making it through that area as well, but Ron still has a bit of a lead as he absolutely obliterates the mini-boss. It's just blink and you miss it with every single thing in this game.
I didn't even know there was a mini-boss there, I just learned that seeing Ronny's race there. Making his way out of Misty on his side. Once again, some excellent charge dash cancels there, really fast. Going towards that teleporter, gonna be heading towards grenade, of course, getting that nice tech for the grenade jumps afterwards, as on his side, Pause absolutely obliterated the mini-boss as well, and making his way out of Misty too. They are now really together. They were only 30 seconds away at climb, and it might have shortened with that death on Ronny's side.
Yeah, this race is much closer than the last one, but again, Ronny still has a bit of a lead, and there's only a couple splits left, and they need to get grenade, they need to enter Horu, and then that's it. They finish the game in Horu. So there's not a lot of time left for Pause to make the big comeback that they need, and Ronny is still playing very phenomenally at the top of his game. So it's going to be close, but it's going to be very tense coming in for both of our runners, especially if they don't know where the other one is.
Yeah, definitely making us a little roller coaster of emotions during Misty for Ronny. So very nice gameplay from both runners, making it a nice close race between the two of them. As you see on the left side, a nice grenade jump from Ronny. We'll be seeing some more, not going for that laser cycle, just playing it safe. We'll be going for this rocket jump, however. Very nice, going straight to the top, going away from this boulder, which is basically meaningless because he is just too fast for it. And now going to enter Horu in a bit towards the last little escape, as on his side, Pause getting grenade as well, doing a nice grenade jump on his side too, hopefully. Getting it second try.
Ronny right now is on a low 29 pace, and Pause is on a mid 29 pace. So incredibly close for both of our runners, but that about 30 seconds-ish of difference could be it, as Ronny is going to do a grenade jump here. Oh, that looks so clean. I absolutely love that tech that was very recently found. Hopefully we'll get to see WhitePaaws do it as well, but Ronny's in Horu. Pause just hit the teleporter to start heading his trek towards the fiery mountain of death. Takes a little bit of a fall from Pause, but manages to get back on track with a quick charge jump to keep going. And oh my goodness, what a race.
Yeah, Ronnie is entering his escape as he is going to do the first part blindfolded. Pause on his side did get the grenade jump too. Very nice view on both sides here, but stay put on Ronnie's left side as he is doing the escape, going through very quickly. Got through the blindfolded part just excellently. Now going to be setting up his fish cycle right here, doing the dash correctly. Perfect. Stomping down, making sure he doesn't take too much damage because he is on 5 HP, so can't take more than 4 hits in this water. Perfectly done. Dodging Kuro's appearance scene, bashing to the left, and going for the last little grenade jump, and that's GG for Ronnie, taking the win on game 2 and taking the win on this round.
Wow. What an incredible showing from Ron. And we're seeing Pause as well, doing some more blind movement here, trying to catch up a little bit more time. Unfortunately, it won't be enough, but Pause still having a very amazing race themselves. They're both going to be at the very bitter end. Pause also has 5 health, skipped one of the health cells in Horror Fields, so we'll also have to do this fish manipulation to make sure that they can get through the poison water safely, and they will also get it. But Ronnie, with Blueberry Mom, will pass the tree and stop the timer at 29:11 to finish it off. As Pause, on the other side, gets the grenade jump first try. Super close between our two runners. I am amazed by what we've just watched.
Just excellent escape on both sides, and just excellent race, actually, because putting up some really nice consistency on both sides, even with Ronnie's death sometimes in Misty or in other places that were due to his very risky routing. But yeah, Pause playing like less than a minute away from his PB and both games. So just excellent gameplay. High 29 for him. Actually a 29.58. Excellent. GG's to both our runners.
Yeah, no kidding. Just phenomenal. 2 different sub-30s. This is exactly what we expect out of the quarterfinals. And hopefully we'll get to see more of those even later today. But for now, we will see if our runners are going to jump into interviews after those 2 back-to-back hyperspeed races. See if they want to give us any thoughts at all. It's up to them if they do or don't want to. We'll never force any runners to, but just stay tuned if they decide to do that for an interview.
Yeah, I believe there wasn't any game pre-planned if there was going to be a 2-0 ending, so yeah, hopefully seeing them on an interview now. Maybe if they didn't change their minds. And yeah, I have a few questions, but I am a bit scared because I don't have a bunch of questions because they just played both excellently, which was, great to watch.
Yeah, no kidding. Just both of these people, masters of the craft of fast Ori. So it's like, what do we even ask them? What knowledge do we require from gods like them? And there are GGs to both of you. Amazing races today.
GG's, Ronnie.
GG.
Yeah, both putting up excellent runs, honestly. Pause, you played really close to your PB both times. How are you feeling about those 2 games you did today?
Man. I think the first game I actually felt better, even though it was a worse time, because the mistakes that I had were more... I think I had less execution mistakes than the second run. It's just that the mistakes were worse. So even though the first one, the time was worse, the second one I just played so poorly, I felt, honestly. But it's fine. I was able to get a 29 at least, which is good for showing.
Yeah, definitely excellent to watch. Ronnie as well, putting up just 2 really excellent paces at Interginza both times. Rin being astonished both times in the chat, and even saying that you were maybe 26th space at Stomp on the second game. How are you feeling about that pace you had?
Yeah, these are paces I'm hoping for PB attempts.
Yeah, that was like I was 10 seconds ahead at Stomp. I wasn't looking at my pace, I just looked at it now. But yeah, just disappointed at the late game. But very promising early games, yeah.
10
Completely
seconds ahead, that's
understand.
insane.
Yeah, it was absolutely glorious to watch. But you know, at least you can be happy that your deaths did make us shake a little for this race, as you were really both close, honestly, in sorrow. So it was just a great watch. Turtle, do you have any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Ronnie, we did see maybe a little bit of a painful death, that second race especially in sorrow. But you managed to come back. What was going through your mind as that happened? Are you feeling nervous? Were you like, I know that I am behind now? Or are you just calm and in control when something like that unfortunately goes wrong?
Yeah, I thought that I could be like behind after that death. I was looking at the stream though, so I was looking over at the C jump tree animation, so I know I was still ahead. But I'm not sure what happened. The last C juggle that hit the frog, I even felt that it was like it felt like a good C juggle, not like my inputs. I'm not sure what happened. So yeah.
And I'll pause. We didn't see pretty much any major deaths from you. We saw some minor ones here and there over the course of both runs. So what's your mental state when you hit those little minor snags, and how do you keep yourself from letting it snowball at all and just having such consistent gameplay the entire time?
Honestly, like in the first game, I think the first game that I was able to shake off the smaller mistakes a little bit better. Honestly, I mean, I had that one lore in Grove. So I was able to shake that off pretty well. I think that if I hadn't had that, I would have gotten like a 29 2x or 3x maybe. But the second game, I did snowball kind of hard. Thankfully, it like didn't lead to major deaths. It was all like movement execution mistakes that I lost like 2-3 seconds here and there. But I don't know. That second game I felt blah a bit.
Well, you still looked absolutely great from our side. I'll just say that.
I appreciate it.
Ronnie, you'll be facing Dudu in the next round. How are you feeling about that next opponent you're facing?
Yeah, that's very scary. I'm not sure that my performances today would be like quite enough, especially the second race. I guess I should practice more on being a little bit more safe, and hope to get those 28s.
Yeah, we'll be hoping to see a close race between the two of you. And pause on your side. You're sadly out of this tournament. What are you planning to do? And yeah, how did you feel about your tournament globally?
I wanted to say good luck, Ronnie, to in their next matches first, and then I feel pretty good about the tournament overall. I didn't get the times that I would have liked to get in the earlier stages. I mean, there were still enough to make it past, but my play overall was kind of sloppy. But today it was a little better in that regard, so I'm pretty happy with that. Well, now I'm gonna try to get 28. That's the goal.
Okay, well, we wishing you the best of luck with the 28. You're definitely super close, and we see your PB on. So I hope you do get it whenever it's good. Turtle, do you wanna announce the next match coming up?
Oh, heck yes. So yeah, everyone make sure to stick around, because in just about an hour and 30 minutes, we are going to have the final match of the quarterfinals, and that will be our 4th seed versus our 5th seed, Promorix versus Luster. It's going to be an incredibly tight race, just like the one you just saw, maybe even closer. Who knows? I'm so excited for it. And that'll again be in an hour and 30 minutes, so take a break, bathroom, snacks, whatever you need, but be sure to be here for the next set of quarterfinals. For now, that is the end of this race. Thank you again to our runners, Ronny and WhitePaaws, for the phenomenal showcase. Thank you to the commentator from my co-commentator from the first run, Lion, and my co-commentator this run, Bobby's. Thank you to our trucker for both, Fupio, and our restreamer for both, Appletree. And thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, hopefully with some more Ori to keep watching. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.